Hi everyone, I'm Lavanya here. So today I'm here to give you MICAT 1 2023 analysis. We will dive into section-wise breakdowns, key takeaways, and some basic tip to help you ace your next attempt. Yeah, let's get started. The first thing I want to focus on is the test structure. So this is how the test structure looks like. So yeah, the first thing is psychometric test. So in psychometric test, we have to deal with 150 questions and it should be dealt with within 30 minutes. All right. So the psychometric test is compulsory and the performance in the psychometric test is used as a qualifying criteria for the next stage. So it's important to attempt all the questions in the psychometric test. So to ensure that your paper is evaluated. So you have to attempt all the questions and it's easy. So basically you have to be honest with the questions. Okay, so yeah, the test consists of 150 questions. We have to deal with 37 scenario-based questions, that is true or false questions. And then you have to deal with 130 questions, which will be related to personality and actions. All right, so no negative marks for psychometric test and descriptive test. So descriptive test is essay writing. You will have to write 4 essays within 25 minutes. And then section C, we will have 4 subsection. The first one is divergent and convergent thinking. We will have to deal with 20 questions. Verbal ability, 20 questions. Quants and data interpretation, again, 20 questions. General awareness, you will have to deal with only 10 questions. So totally, you will have to deal with 70 questions within 80 minutes. It's not an easy task, but then, yes, we have to deal with this. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide. So, yeah, here we are. Section B, descriptive test. So yeah, this section demands analytical, descriptive, and creative writing skills. So yeah, we have to upskill our analytical, descriptive, and creative skill. All right. So the first 3 questions were interlinked. For the first 2 questions, students have to write 3 points each for and against that particular topic. So these 2 questions carries 10 marks each. So in the third question, students have to write a 300-word essay while carrying 20 marks. For this particular question, you'll be given 20 marks. Yeah. So the third question demands fresh perspective, separate from points addressed in the earlier questions. So make sure you don't repeat up your points. So moving on to the fourth question. Yes, the fourth question in this section consisted of 4 pictures. Students have to write down a story using these images in any order, A, B, C, D, or D, C, B, A, or any such combination. So you can do any combination and then draft a particular essay related to that particular images. So the order was to be mentioned before starting your story. So you have to mention the order and then you can construct your story. Yes, let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, section C, 4 subsets. 4 subsections. So in section C, we will be getting +1 for each correct answer and -0.25 for each incorrect response. The aptitude test have 4 subsections with a total of 70 questions. These 70 questions have to be solved within 80 minutes. We had a mix of questions with 8, 6, 5 and 4 options. So we have to be very careful, and the time if you have 8 options, then it might consume some extra time, but then we have no other option. We have to deal with this. Yes. So moving on to subsection 1. Divergent and convergent thinking. So the reasoning section comprised of 20 questions, including word association, analogies, statement assumption, data sufficiency, and visual reasoning questions. We had questions with both 4 options and 8 options for this particular section. So let's move on to the next slide. Yes, subsection 2, verbal ability. So this is the breakdown of verbal ability. So this section consisted of jumbled paragraph, word pairs, close test, and fill in the blanks, and 2 reading comprehension passages. Yes, we had two passages, and the first passage was about 200 words, and the second passage was about 250 to 300 words. It's not more than 300 words. Yes. So for the first passage, we have to deal with two questions, and for the second passage, we dealt with four questions. All right. So fill in the blanks again. You had four questions, and in which idioms and phrases was one of the topic. And yeah, and then we had critical reasoning inference-based question one, and parajumbles we had parajumbles we had two questions. Jumbled sentence we had one question. Jumbled sentence is nothing but a sentence will be mixed up, and we have to frame a particular perfect sentence with which is coherent, I would say. Yeah. So moving on to best summary, we had one question, and one word substitution we had two questions, and finding the odd sentence we had one, and para completion we had one, synonym we dealt with one question. So yes, so this is the breakdown of section subsection 2, verbal ability. So let's move on to the next one, subsection 3, quantitative ability and data interpretation. So this is how the quants section was. This section is of 20 questions again, and 16 of which tested quantitative ability and 4 of which tested data interpretation. So we had questions from geometry, arithmetic, probability, bar graph and tables as well. So let's move on to the next section. Yes, this is the final section, that is subsection general awareness section. So yeah, the general awareness portion has 10 questions. 6 of the 10 questions were of the match the following type question, while the other 4 were about marketing and branding, and the remaining 8 were based on current events. So yeah, that's all for this particular section. Let's move on to the next one. Takeaways from MICAT 1 2023. Yes, compared to previous years, MICAT 1 2023 was slightly tougher section, like QA and DI was a little bit harder to deal with compared to the previous paper. Yeah, so I would say the paper is moderate to difficult. So I would want to give you some basic tips and some takeaways. So yeah, in psychometric test, no right or wrong answer. So focus on self-awareness and honesty. So don't try to fake anything out and try to be yourself and answer the questions. So there is no right or wrong answer for this particular section, but we have to deal with all the 150 questions. Yes, moving on to general awareness. They have reduced the weightage of this particular section to 10 questions. Before that, we had to deal with 20 questions, but then they reduced the weightage. Yes, focus on current affairs and business news for upskilling your current affairs and business news can give you an edge while dealing with this general awareness section. So yeah, moving on to descriptive test. Yeah, start from the fourth essay because this question carries 30 marks, right? So I would say start from third, that is fourth question. Then you can move on to third question, and then you can move on to the 1 and 2 and 1. All right. So start with fourth essay. Yes, time management. Yes, make sure you manage your time effectively because it's crucial for attempting all the questions using like 150 questions in psychometric test, 4 essays, and 80 MCQs. So totally you will get only 2.5 hours. That is 2 hours and 50 minutes. So you have to deal with all these up. Yeah. So it's not gonna be easy task, but then yes, we have to be very effective while dealing with our questions. So make sure you manage your time effectively. All right. So yeah. Moving on to the last final tips, I would say practice application oriented questions in QA and DI because it will give you an edge. Yeah, sharpen your reading comprehension skills because out of 20 questions, 6 questions will be from reading comprehension. So basically you have to sharpen your reading comprehension skills and don't underestimate the importance of descriptive test. Yes, basically you will have like 30 plus you will get like 70 marks in descriptive test. So make sure you upskill your descriptive, creative writing and creative writing skills. All right. So yeah, stay updated on current affairs and business related news, and it will give you an edge while dealing with a general awareness section. So all right. Yeah. I would say develop your typing skills, because we have to be very quick while typing out your descriptive essays. So I would say you have to upskill your typing speed as well. So yeah, these are just general takeaways. Make sure to analyze your own strengths and weakness to tailor your preparation for MICAT 2 2024. I hope this helps for your preparation. So that's all for today. Yes, thank you.